Welcome in, everybody, here to the glorious ends of Ancient. I do like this map, to be honest. I know it gets a bit of stick, but I think it's fun. And it was fairly fresh in a good way, where Vertigo is maybe a little controversial in the way that it was fresh. But I do like Ancient. And to be fair, I think it's been a while since I've casted some Ancient. So here we are. And hopefully we get a nice game out of it. Of course, myself and Neokai to take you through all the action. 9 starting off on that CT side of ECSTATIC's map pick. A nice little utility mule in the form of Manx, but nothing too out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, IGL opting for the Uto. I like it. Allow for the youngsters to pick up that armor. And try and do something with the Glocks. Oh, early doors. 9 didn't go for a lot of mid-aggression here. This could come back to bite them.
Yeah, definitely. That's very, very true. We'll see. Nice shot from Kai coming in, though, to open up proceedings. Definitely eases some of the pressure. Second. Runs out of ammo. Maybe the third was there for him, and Goofy had to get that trade, but he didn't. And look what's happened. Queenix and Kraghen chiming in for an awful lot of kills here, leaving it down to just 2. Easier said than done. Smoke goes down. The Julies are deadly in the pistol round, but no kit available. So, time of the essence. Man down. All that terrible stuff. And in come the frags. Nice and easy ECSTATIC with a great recovery.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great pistol round. There's very little you can talk about in a negative sense. And I think it's more the other way. For 9, that significant lack of map control that they brought in towards that pistol round really did come back to bite them. Because it kind of left them in a very, very horrible scenario where they were, first of all, kind of double guessing where the T-side were actually going to be coming from. And then, of course, when it got to kind of them taking fakes and taking fights, they just made the numbers game, right? Just flood on towards that B side, played for the trades, and it worked wonders. 3 remaining alive. And take a very comfortable pistol. And a nice full buy follows suit, flooding in towards mid. This could get messy. Into the meat grinder, that is middle. All down to 1. And it's Kai. I think he's got a pretty tough task here, just the USPS. It's like a very easy, flawless round.
Yeah, tries to get a bit cheeky there. Following in the footsteps. You know, they never expect a 5th guy in the same spot. But they were indeed ready for him. So, simple stuff, but a throwaway round. You know, you're nice to get a kill. The old tagline on those rounds that an old mate of mine used to use is, any damage is good damage.
Yeah, agreed.
So, fair play to them, but of course, nothing comes in. ECSTATIC with a quick bolster and a bonus here. And now we have the buyout from 9. Again, Ancient is a map that really does hand itself to these early CT buys. You can survive a little bit with less utility.
Double flashing towards ramp, having a little look in, but it's Goofy going to take the initial point of control. Re-smoke, in fact, as he was to deny that pressure, but the Molotov will force him back, and now he's lost excavation control.
Double nade on the corner. Like that idea. There's no one there, but, you know, certainly could use it for future rounds. Really hard little spot to clear, as you can see. The 2 A1Ss on top of each other, and they will absolutely read into that. Surely all they need. 5 on 3 ensues. No kit available, so kills worth their weight in gold. Down to just Kraghen.
Safe to say, this one's going to be pretty difficult for him. Spotted out. Great shot on towards Minio. An important kill as well, because the anchor now falling means that at least he's going to back up a bit of a rotation. But with no bomb, I mean, realistically, this round is dead in the water already. I think for Kraghen, it's a recovery mission for himself. Keep hold of that AK if he can. Doesn't need to do anything too special. Just park up in a corner. Hope and wait that no one walks in his direction. For 9, I think they were tempted to go for a hunt, but I think it's very risky, right? When you look to them themselves, with 3 remaining alive, their money isn't fantastic across the board. So if only 2 rifles save the cross, their buy towards the next can be pretty brutal, and they'll struggle to challenge ECSTATIC, who are going to have a full buy, because I mean, this is essentially chalked down to being a bonus.
Yeah, I mean, that is fair. But 9... I suppose the question becomes, is that argument of, like, is it 9 won the round or ECSTATIC lost because they didn't quite have the facilities to match up?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the question that we pose into this 4th round. As you said, I will be there. So, you would assume they're a bit late on it, but they're obviously talking over what the game plan is, what the strat's going to be, and how they immediately get the return here. And it's sort of this blessing in disguise. There's another tagline from years gone by that we used to use all the time. In the old economy, Because, you know, you might be able here to win this third round, and then you wreck the money of 9, and that third round turns into a 4th, and, you know, you might even be able to get the 5th because the buy will be a bit rough. So, in a way, it's like sometimes it can be tactical to lose it, you know, okay to lose the round.
Exactly. I get you. But now, for ECSTATIC, I don't think they're going to be too worried that much about the previous, right? Just because for them, they know they were going to have a full buy going in towards the next. The only thing that's a slight, I guess, asterisk above that is Salazar with that skill. And of course, for those who don't know, Salazar is the new boy at the moment for ECSTATIC. Of course, he's replacing Breezer. So, we'll see. In towards mid, double donut stack.
Minio, triple kill comes in, lovely. Absolutely massive, 4 versus 2. Queenix and Salazar will try their best to get a bomb plant or something. I think the space is there for them, in fairness. So that certainly helps, that certainly helps. That will, you know, bolster the buy into the future round, which is all good. Queenix, nice find. Clean as well. Uh-oh. Salazar with another. The last 2 both coming in from Donut, making a lot of noise doing so. We've got a great crossfire here. Fantastic face from Salazar. Leaves it into a 1 versus 1. Goofy has a kit and a smoke. That's brilliant. That is massive. Forces the peek out from Queenix, and he will indeed win the fight. Nearly dropping the 4-on-2. ECSTATIC. They'll be upset, but they've done a lot of damage there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you've got to give a lot of credit to ECSTATIC for even making that competitive. When Minio finds that 3k in towards Donut, you're already thinking, well, this one's done, isn't it? It's chalked up. We can move forward, but thankfully, they're able to clamber that one back in their favor. Goofy needed to step up and did exactly as demanded. ECSTATIC, though, even when they lose rounds, they make it expensive. That could be enough for them to just to continuously cause problems. You got to remember as well, Ancient, the most CT-sided map in the pool, competitively speaking, at the moment. And ECSTATIC on 2 rounds already on their T-side isn't actually that bad. You know, normally I've seen 4 or 5 rounds be okay on the T-side. I would even say, you know, if you pick up 5 to 6 rounds, you've actually done pretty decent on the C-side of Ancient. So that's what ECSTATIC are looking for. When a team kill to open things up, that's messy.
That is very messy indeed. They have just about managed to break in towards the B-bomb side, but I think it's, you know, a facade, really. In comes the retake flash. It's lovely and clean. Kylar will be the one to find the kill, but I think it was all said and done. Tudson through the smoke, trades his teammate, finds another. Making up a little bit for the last round. It was a little messy from him in the last one, but they're all good. 9, 3. Not super clean, but 3 in a row. That's for sure.
That's it. That's it, of course. So I guess on the side as well, we can talk about Tudson. He's a change for Sparrow, who no longer part of the roster. Tudson from their old fancy roster coming in. I think Todd's actually quite a good pickup. I think he's someone who's always been... Obviously, we know him from the UK scene for a little while, way back when. But I think he's a very, very decent player in his own regard. And I think he's always been someone that's very, very competitive. He played in FPL and FPLC and being one of the better names and the more notable names as well. And we saw, of course, that bit of a fabled run with Fantasy an hour before the open quals. At 1 hour before the open quals, they put a post in FPLC chat and said, "Everyone want to make a team? Have a little run in," and they ended up qualifying for the closed qualifier. So, you know, it's very commendable. And granted, while they weren't really anything too special at the closed qualifier, to even get to that stage is it's what CS is all about, right? These underdog stories, and both of these teams were underdog stories at those closed quals. They know all too well about each other. So it's a bit of a weird, a bit of a rivalry in terms of the players know each other quite well from the RMR old conferences and challenges in the earlier stages of 2022 before 9 was kind of made. Still, these two, the buy for ECSTATIC on that lower side, and they're flying out towards mid, cracking a fall very quickly.
Salazar, first one to break the silence there for ECSTATIC. And they've got the smokes. So they should be able to, once again, secure a bomb plant. You never really know on this A-bomb site. Nade goes in. Almost on the money, but not quite. A lot of damage done onto Tudson, but still, you know, yeah, not looking too good. The spam, the frags, all coming in. Mankz, he's baited in by the reload. And Queenix left against 4. Does have that AK. There's one. But And he does damage to Goofy as well, through his teammate, actually. Uh-oh. Found the healthy player. This is a mess. Queenix. This is clean. Goofy, 1v1, 16 HP. Surely not going to be able to get it done now. Just going to go for the hold. And Queenix is not going to call his bluff. Awfully close. He left it very, very close. If he was off the mark, probably loses that. But hey, he pulled it off. Hell of a round.
And ECSTATIC have managed to find a round, I mean, off nothing, really. It was kind of a hero rifle buy coming through. And the Danes have turned it in their favor. That's fantastic. Now we can see the new boy on the block for ECSTATIC, the AWP, Salazar, pick up the big green. I'm interested to see later down the line what we see in terms of the two new AWPers on each side, Tudson, Salazar, how they compare against each other. Of course, CT AWPing on Ancient is normally seen as the much easier side to AWP from. How does Salazar fare up when he's against Tudson and AWP? Of course, in this round, he's only got the Eagle to wield. Hand cannon, not exactly comparable. And the buy for 9, the same. Double M4A1S, MP9, and a couple of pistols. Not a dream buy, but going to try and make it work in their favor. For ECSTATIC on paper, this should be chalked up for a 4th round in their favor.
Pretty solid back and forth so far. Definitely what we're here for. Long may it continue. It seems like the A-bomb site, curiously enough, is a bit more popular for ECSTATIC. Because it's generally, you know, the sort of poison chalice where it's seemingly easy to take, but hard to keep a hold of. The damage onto Kylar. They are, of course, onto this very weak buy here, so might just give it. This looks like a give it angle and save for the next, because they just weren't ready for another A hit.
It looks like it. I mean, obviously, normally as well, the maps like Ancient at times can be a bit of a B-side simulator, right? I mean, we've kind of seen it so often where they keep pushing that agenda. And you're spot on, right? I think maybe ECSTATIC either A, have done their prepreration and really understand that 9 have a clinic weakness over towards their A site, which if it is, that's genius. Or it could just be a bit of a pocket strength for them, right? A lot of sides prefer the B side. If they can be the masters of the A, work in their favor. And actually, you know, does seem to be working right now. 4-3. That'll extend the lead to just 1. And for 9, I think off the bat, they have the immediate gamble stack towards that kind of mid-B presence when they lost the control, lost the side, bomb goes down. They're like, hey, well, let's just keep on to what we've got. We don't really have the money to work with long-term anyway, so a save is better than nothing. For Goofy, what's the decision for him? Does he get dropped anything? I mean, really, I'm perfectly honest, what could he get dropped? Even in towards a FAMAS is going to be quite tough, potentially. Or he's going to wield a Deagle armor, but a util. We'll have to wait and see. No, just the Deagle. Stick around the 2k mark. Won't have money working in towards round number 8, so potentially even mentally 9, expecting to lose his next one.
Once again, we're angling for an A hit.
No one's there.
Again, yeah. But at the very least, we're seeing a bit more proactivity on B. So it's not all in vain that their A-bomb site is a bit weaker. But I think they really are thinking, surely they're not going A again, right, guys, you know? So, unfortunately, gambling wrong 2 rounds in a row. But, advantage comes in. No kit, no utility. Gonna be hard. Fall down to the headies. And, well, not too bad at all. 4 versus 2. AWP still in play here for Salazar. Molotov keeps at bay. Great find onto Kai. Oh, yes. And onto Tudson Salazar with a round. The young gun, the new addition, the name that not many will recognize, finds himself a clean 4K.
That's huge. That is. Salazar, I think there's a lot of question marks around him at the moment, right? Because, I mean, in his own, I think Breeze is actually a fairly decent AWPer. I like the way in which Breeze plays. I think even when Astrala's Talent, when he was under that moniker, I think he was a very, very decent player of his own regard. So, you know, to fill those boots, I think is relatively tough. But so far, so good. 8-4 for him. It's Queenix who is, at the moment, absolutely smurfing. 14-5 as he will drop at just 1. That is a brilliant individual showing there from Carter for 3 kills.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. As we kind of alluded to in the pregame, I think pound for pound, if we're looking at it that way, and that's not all CS is about, right? But pound for pound, I would say that 9 have the better individuals. ECSTATIC is certainly giving them a good run for their money. Nice find from Cabby. It's just that bomb, isn't it? In the hands of the CTs. Where do they go? What do they do? B is open. They don't know that. It is going to be a struggle here, to be honest. But Salazar's still alive. He had a round in the previous. Maybe he can tap into that once again.
Maybe. Doable, right? 2 versus 3. And funny enough, Scriv, where are they heading? To get the bomb, but potentially also to their A site, their best friend. It's worked wonders for them. They've got a 2-round lead on it. But recollecting this bomb is going to be very, very difficult right now. There's 2 players close and personal. Kyle, of course, got the 3 to open things up here. At range as well. Pop shot with the orb, not going to find too much success. The Molotov, too little, too late. They've already fallen away.
Oh, missed shot. Cabby does retrieve the bomb, so they got that done, but they won't win the round. They do make it costly in the end. Make sure that they're, you know, under those 3 players. Therefore, you're losing money. That's how it goes. And you see where the cash is at. It's not great. So that is something to consider. ECSTATIC, meanwhile, could reinvest. Probably go for a half is the safe bet, but nope, they are going to go for it. They are going to go for it. Stay hot on the heels. They're probably already satisfied with 5 rounds on the T side, so checks out, I suppose.
Yeah, do you know what? I'd say, generally speaking, of what we see over towards this map, to get 5 rounds already in the T side, I think is actually, to be fair, pretty good. 5 to 6 rounds for me, I'd be happy with, and I'm sure ECSTATIC could be more of the same. The way they're playing is kind of lights out Counter-Strike. A lot of control, a lot of early engagements being taken, like this one. They're wanting more. Kraghen, great opener.
As always, bro, as always.
He's talented, isn't he? Seriously talented, Kraghen.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, from the few games that I've watched of this squad, he was probably the player that stood out the most, I think.
It's crazy how young they are as well. I mean, they've got such a bright career ahead of them. I mean, I'm interested to see what their average age is, but I'm assuming it's not much higher than kind of 21, 22. And I think, honestly, Mankz might even be a large proportion of it. I think he's slightly older than the rest. He's the experience. Yeah, 24. So he's the experience in the team. A young roster, but I mean, they perform at such a high level, perform way above their age.
Oh, yeah. And I think that is the Danish Counter-Strike, always been very mature players at the very least, right? We had a period for a time where it's like, how many riflers are they going to produce? That's what it was all about. But I think ECSTATIC, at the very least, that maturity has trickled down from the big boys. Salazar misses out on the trade, does get it eventually, though. That was a little dodgy for a sec, but 4v2, Tudson dealt with, a bomb site open, probably another save angle.
Yeah.
Kai just flashing, because, you know, why not? Going around, but, you know, whatever. He's getting those effective flashes up.
I respect it. I do respect it. For now, yeah, as you mentioned, each is a save call. Goofy, okay. I mean, what can they do, really? I mean, there's no way they're going to make a 2 versus 4 work in their favor. Yes, and a bit of damage was Kraghen, saying he could have a Salazar. But at a site, a distinct weakness. And, it pains me to say because it's got a player who I really, really rate, that Minio, playing as the anchor over towards A. But it's a very difficult side to play because the standard meta at the moment as well with Ancient is kind of, 2 to 3 over towards B, 1 towards mid, 1 towards A, right? And you kind of just bank on the fact that hopefully that A player can post up into his back, plat, or temple and, buy enough time for rotations to come through, right? But for Minio, he is being pressured from all angles. And for 9, I think one of the key factors for them that has been so costly is their inability to hold and keep mid. That's the big thing. Kraghen's doing a really good work in cracking it open, as we saw towards that round prior, but he's done for the majority of this game thus far. And I think Queenix had a fantastic kind of wrap round as well. He's playing that upper angle, running past there, just outside B main and excavation and whatnot, and taking the elevated angle and getting rid of that donut player. That those two combining, having so much success. And for 9, distinct changes have to come through. They've already got 6 rounds on the T side, and in my eyes, that's good enough. So, ECSTATIC performing really, really well right now. And I don't think they need to change anything, but as we see off the back of this TAC pause, you can probably assume it's the Polish side calling for it because they are in a bit of trouble right now.
This is the mark, isn't it? Like you say, it's satisfactory for the T side, therefore it's kind of unsatisfactory, for the CT end, right? To let them get further than where it's at. 9-6 is we always say it's like 10-5 is the must. 9-6 is probably both sides a bit happy, provided that the stronger quote unquote side gets the 9.
Yes, yeah.
But obviously, 5 in a row from 9 required to get to 9.
A lot of 9s.
Yeah, indeed.
9.
And there's even a 9 in their name.
There we go. I think it's quite a cool little name, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
Gotta say, they were. I remember when I first kind of heard about 9, they were the Turkish roster. I don't remember them way back when, and they played. I think they maybe even got to advanced, but they were a fairly decent roster in and around kind of main advanced area, the Turkish team, and then they went away for a bit. And I was wondering, kind of, would we ever see them again? And they've picked up an absolutely astounding roster. The Polish side. I mean, there's a lot of big names there who are very talented, and hopefully they can kind of dig into a bit of that talent, because right now ECSTATIC are all over them.
Very true, my good man. Very true. Definitely see why ECSTATIC love picking into it. Yeah, go ahead.
Just look at A. They've actually made a change. Minio, he's gone aggressive. I know it's only a Zeus, but it's definitely still a change, right? It's better than nothing. They've at least made some sort of a presence over towards A to deny it going every single round in favor of the Danes.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how this kind of works out. He's going to go down here, but in a round like this, it's a good time to send the feelers out there. See what their sort of A-sided default looks like. And maybe, not next round, not the round after, but, you know, the one after that, we might see him go aggressive again. Because he knows that, you know, if they're more over towards B, there's a likelihood that a guy will be chilling outside of A, so I'll give him a scrap. The difficulty, of course, is that you might get wrong, and you can potentially walk into like 4 players. So we'll see how he plays that one out. But it's definitely an info gather, a bit of a recce, as they say. Easy cleanup here on the B-bomb site. Goofy, the only one that is left, looking to maybe take a name down with him in this round, and he will. You expect a 7th pretty easily here from ECSTATIC. We've not had anything crazy happen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those rounds where for 9, they gamble stacked the B site, left 1 over towards A, and this time is the time they go B. Doesn't matter about the gamble stack, they just get pulled apart. Very, very easy kills being picked up by Mankz. The IGL stepping up. I mean, obviously wasn't previously an IGL for this roster. Was just a very, very solid support player. And that's what made Mankz brilliant, right? I think he was so good in his role as that support rifler. And now the fact that he has the ability to IGL as well, I mean, his market value going up by the game, because he's guiding these youngsters to a lot of success and playing in an unfamiliar role and making it his own. Love to see it. And you probably assume as well a lot of that has been learned and brought across by the likes of Birth from Sky, right? When you're under his tutorage for quite a while, you pick up a few tips and tricks. And I think for the Danish scene, I mean, in terms of current form, I'd say he's probably the best IGL in the Danish scene. Definitely in current form, in my eyes. Copenhagen Flames have won all 3 of the last tournaments they were in. EDC, CCT, I would say Northern Europe, and then other Europe. Some of them, but all 3. So they're pretty good, basically.
Yeah, it's been going all right. I definitely had my doubts about that team, because I did feel like we had 3, IGLs.
I agree.
Although, yeah, I think it turns out TMB and Rals would have been the other 2. I think that they were sort of peddled into the IGL role in their previous teams, which is probably why they ended up leaving them. So, Kylar with a smoke block. They know he's there, and they're a bit scared. Spamming away, minute and 10 on the clock. Great information here, and a frag as well to boot towards B. So, as it often goes on that T side of Ancient, if you do get caught lacking, they know that pretty much everybody's in the same spot. That's how it has to go, unfortunately. So, Scrap comes in, fighting on towards this A bomb site. Nice finds, but it's not enough. Down to Salazar against 3. Was that a fake flash from the pistol? Minio goes down, and rightly so. How dare he at this level of the game try and pull that one off?
Nothing but respect. Nothing. That's a Neo and MM strat.
Yeah,
I love to see it.
I feel that.
I really do.
It's just hilarious. I've not seen that for a while, and like I say, it just doesn't work. These guys are maybe it does on the off chance that it does, right? What do you got to lose? But Salazar still here. 20 seconds. Spots the head, finds it. Oh, lovely. Absolutely incredible. He's set up for this one now. Goofy is quite far away. No chance of a trade. Get that bomb down.
Oh, no.
Not considering it. Ah, that's so unlucky. Just out-positioned in the end. Goofy's patience pays off, and he will indeed recover the round, because for my money, it was on. He looked like he's clean enough with that AWP to find the frag, but just didn't see him.
That's a corker, a first shot, though, right? To open up the sight. I mean, that's a couple of pixels to work with, and he lands a headshot with what seemed like relative ease for him. Salazar, he's been really impressive. I got to admit, I didn't really see too much of him. If I'm right in saying he was from that old Atlantic roster, right? The old Danish one, yeah. And I think they had I can't remember exactly the tournament, but a fairly decent run. I know they're all very, very young, and some of those guys have now moved on to other rosters as well.
Right.
What was it? Is it?
I'll do a fact check for you, mate.
Yeah, there was a couple of the big names. Analele was one. I know that way. He was a seriously good player, Analele. Cast him yesterday, in fact. He's playing with Trick now alongside Torzen, if I'm right in saying. And they were a part of that old Atlanta roster. But they're very good. A bunch of youngsters, kind of unknowns, but all at a very high level. And of course, so was Salazar. I didn't really get to see too much of them. I think I cast them once, but impressive. And it's good to see they've moved on to kind of bigger and better things. In towards Ram. It's K for a double. Drops Cabby, drops Manx. At least a numbers level once further. Bomb trying to be collected, and they go one apiece. And it's that man who steps up with Salazar with a big green.
Not quite fast enough to deal with Tudson, though. Henry G's guy, back in the day. Don't know if you remember that one.
I do. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
Eagle throwback.
Yeah. Minio will indeed take down Queenix. Makes it look easy. And 9 have recovered. 9 have recovered since that little timeout, I will say.
It sounds like a little bit, I guess confidence probably the better word, right? That they're taking engagements, taking map control, they're looking for fights. I think even if you look on an individual stance, a couple of those names over towards 9, I'd say are more impactful as fraggers, where I think the teamwork to ECSTATIC is better. That's probably how I kind of chalk up these two. And Danes and teamwork is a match made in heaven. We all know about Danish utility and how good it is. But, you know, for me, K has always been one of the better riflers in Poland, and I think he's an unbelievable talent. And I think the Polish scene, the amount of talent that they kind of put out, I mean, what is it now, like 8, 9 squads all within the top 100? There's a big amount of teams who are very, very competitive, and I think riflers-wise, they have some of the best. K's very good. Minio I really enjoy. Goofy has his moments of brilliance as well, but he's only a support role, so he's not even kind of required to step up that often. But ECSTATIC, their teamwork just looking too formidable right now. 7 rounds on T-side Ancient. I'd already probably say that's good enough. So it's very, very good. ECSTATIC are the ones to call that timeout. With just pistols coming in towards round number 14, the penultimate of the half. It's a forced buy. They're not even ecoing for 15.
Well, nice and quick. In they go. They fancy their chances. Goofy, though, on the MP9. It's kind of the perfect weapon in this scenario. A little ring around the rosy there on the default pillar. Manx will trade him out, and in comes the support here as well. Great move from Manx. Cabby didn't necessarily need him. Oh, and maybe in the end it's a bit too far. The bomb's being dropped to the feet of the CTs. What a treat. And in they all go, these remaining 2 T players. The MP9 had no ammo. And Kylar will find the final 2. It looked good for a second, but yeah, definitely going a fair way in there on the ECSTATIC side. I think that's for sure.
It's such a hefty investment in that previous, right? It's really risky. I mean, they're looking for a bomb plan, aren't they? It gives them money in towards 15 regardless of the result, but it also means without it, as we can see now, they are going to be very limited into what they can bring to the table in towards the 15th and final of this half. It looked like ECSTATIC got on the road to winning out the half and somewhat comfortably, but a force buy in towards 14 has left them with no money in towards 15. Triple Mac 10, double Tech 9, a whole host of utility and a dream to find an 8th there before the half is done. They're looking for a bit of B presence.
And they go, contact flashing. Again, it's relatively simple stuff. Kai is far too ready, runs out of ammo, so he will lose his life, but surely has done enough. Yeah, indeed. Lurk goes down. AWP is here. Minio on the backside. Cabby will get spammed down. Lovely stuff. I was wondering why the auto director had put us on him. Either way, folks, we are going to go across to a quick little break. Close as damn it. ECSTATIC with their CT side set up here. 7 rounds. Should be enough, you'd think. Back with half two. And we're immediately underway, of course, with it being ancient. That smoke comes out, and well, it is a bloodbath in towards middle. 5 CTs. And they're all getting mowed down by one man. One-man army Kai. He will lose his head. Salazar there with the first bullet running accuracy on the USP. Making use of it. What a mental call that is.
Yeah, for both sides.
And yeah, very true. B's open, though. B's open. Minio's found his way in here, and they're a little bit aware of this on that. Oh, CT side. Salazar. Crisp again. He's got a kit. He's got a flash. He still has a teammate remaining, but Queenix is a bit paper thin on 39 HP. We'll see. Glocks up close. They excel, and they are looking good here. Queenix is going to need 2 very fast, very accurate headshots. They're just not giving him anything. Well played. Double face. Easy stuff. Good little read, I guess, on the on the mid round. That's what the word I'm looking for from 9.
Yes. Because the start of the round, whew, that was chaos, is probably the better way to put it. Both sides like, right, lads, they're never going to expect this. Rush mid. And then they just absolute bloodbath, as you rightfully put. But it's led now to things being 9-7. We are right now, of course, fullback coming out for the T side for 9. They're in a pretty strong spot where they know they're going to come against. Even if ECSTATIC went for a full buy, it would still be lesser firepower because of how expensive everything is. They're over towards the CT side, so they're more than happy. Gamble stacking in towards Donut is very interesting, and well, unfortunately, they met with a smoke. So their gamble stack's limited in its control right now, and the bomb is just testing the waters over towards B, and they'll soon enough realize there is no one there to meet them and greet them, and a post-spawn to be set up with relative ease.
Generally, as you would expect, they'll just hope to find a weapon maybe if they can, but even then, you maybe look at this if you want to be super panicky, which actually they don't. They are going to go in for it, but there is an argument to be made that, you know, you just kind of hold off, don't give the SMGs any kills, but they're not about that life. And in actuality, they do outnumber the players on the B bomb site, because I think that 9 reckon they are saving. Not going to happen for them, though. They get mowed down, as expected. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fair, and I respect it. I think it would be a bit of a common trend. Maybe less so on Ancient, you know, closer quarters map and all that, but a lot of teams there would have just sat in Donut and been like, all right, we lost the round, let's not give them any money. Which tactically you can get on board with, but at the end of the day, I'd like to see some kills. So, you know.
I like that. I'd just like to see some kills. I +1 that. But for now, 9 have found plenty of kills, which means that they've got, well, plenty of cash to work in the more long-term scape. And those Mac 10s farming a couple of kills meant that there's a real good potential that 9 have an AWP in towards the next round. Obviously, this one's a bonus, right? So, I mean, even if they don't win it, they can walk away with a bomb plant, couple of kills. They'll be more than happy. They'll be chuffed, in fact. There's a bit of early aggression comes through over towards that B site. No real mid aggression being taken here. You look at the left-hand side of your screen. Minio is sneaking his way out towards A, and I don't think he'll be met by anybody. It's all about time.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going on in this game with the super weak A defenses. I do get it. You know, it's fairly common. As we said earlier, retaking it is easier than retaking B. This is something. Especially now with the rotation that comes in. 4 on the B bomb side. Thankfully, it looks like it's going to play into their hands. Lane flash, lane frag, lane info. So a pretty perfect play there for ECSTATIC. The bomb as well is trapped pretty far back, actually. And unfortunately, Minio's not made any progress on it. So, yeah, 9 are very stuck here, actually.
They're in a really horrible position. Upgrade to an AK is nice for Goofy. This round isn't looking that way, though. So what do they do to try and recoup their losses? And it's looking like back over towards A. But this time they've been read like a book. ECSTATIC are also rotating over. It's a foot race to who can get there first. And it's probably going to be the CT side.
Indeed it is. Mowdown about to come in, or will they find the kills? They're actually finding them on the 9 side. Only 10 seconds though, so a well-placed frag could end it all here and now. Kai with a safe plant. Or is it Mankz commit? Yes, and he does. The spam comes in, drops the bomb at the perfect time. And he even finds a few after time. Beautiful. Absolutely magical stuff. And ECSTATIC, they will recover it back. It looked good for 9 there.
I gotta say, I thought they somehow recovered that as well. I mean, the right idea is to go towards A because they'd lost all control of B, and most importantly, they lost control of the split in towards B through cave, right? Once you can see ECSTATIC dump all their utility, they deny, and with Tudson falling, who was the player testing the waters into excavation, it sort of fell apart, and they had to regroup, had to mid-round call in terms of, right, well, we know Minio's out towards main, let's just see if we can use that in our favor, not to be. A really positive sign is ECSTATIC are taking aggressive mid control. This is something 9 didn't do as much on towards their CT side. But in my eyes, I feel like it's a necessity. You have to take early mid control because the CT side always win that foot race.
Nice pick up from Tudson to open us up here. 9 back in the groove, it looks like. Little bit of a COD reload, as they call it, but Tudson does get that trade out for his teammate. 4v2. And you can see why maybe ECSTATIC are just, you know, bolster the defense. This aggression is not working. Not working. Really, really not working. It almost cost them last round as well.
ECSTATIC, 2 remaining alive. I mean, even do they try and attempt to save? If one falls, does the other just try and park up in a corner? I mean, they haven't got the money, right? So the idea was nice, it's just the execution wasn't. Salazar, little peek, little jiggle, little tap, and he spots 2 bodies, was nothing to do with it. Great read on the flank, does he expect the second? Too little, too late. Allo will trade, that's the B site cracked wide open. And you'd probably expect Queenix to play for a save / exits here.
Yeah, yoinked himself an A1S.
Take those. You take them.
I mean, better than a
Better than a
FAMAS.
FAMAS.
Yeah.
God, I hate that gun. Hate it. I don't know how people use it.
Yeah,
The Galil's acceptable. The FAMAS is not.
Yeah. I'm on board with that.
I've seen, you know, teams with money opt for kind of, you know, Galil, full armor, and then the util and be happy with it. And I understand that. But when it's a FAMAS, no. I'd rather actually use an MP9, to be honest. So
Yeah, I think a lot of pundits, as it were, are in that kind of camp, myself included, so I'm definitely on board with it. I do get it. There's kind of that, you know, it depends on what spot you're at. Because obviously the MP9, workable at range, but definitely not as reliable. And especially at a level of the game where, you know, millisecond flicks and all that make all the difference.
yeah,
so.
yeah. I've got an interesting one for you. And I was having this conversation with some friends, right? If you were to make the FAMAS more viable as a buy, how would you change it? Like, would you do anything to make maybe the... That's a good time, I've got to pause as well. So, would you... I think one that's thrown out there was make... If you use the burst, it's, like, deadly accurate.
I don't know about that. I think that's a bit risky. If you look at, like, COD and stuff like that, you know, burst guns have been ridiculously powerful in that. And although, you know, very different games and time to kill and all this sort of stuff, but the logic, for me, maybe crosses over that it's like, you know, can you imagine if, like, people line up and you just sort of, you kill a guy and bang out another one or dink him up pretty heavily just in one burst? It seems a bit strong.
True.
Yeah, so I think burst is a really risky game to play. Probably money. I'd make it like $2,000 instead of...
Yeah, more towards the Galil, right?
Yeah, right. So that it's like you can buy a bit more utility and whatnot. Because that's why the MP9 is so good. Is because it's 1,200. It's, well, 1,250. It's strong, and it gives you a $600 kill bonus.
Exactly.
So it's probably... I know it's, you know, the whole philosophy of where Valve's at, but the MP9 probably needs, like, the kill bonus reducing to, like, 400, maybe.
I agree.
Awkward. 2 dry peaks with the only guns that they actually had into this round. Oh, even more awkward. 9 have hit that level, and this is problematic. Because this is ECSTATIC's map pick. And their CT economy is getting away from them. And map 2 is Mirage. I don't really like playing Mirage. So 9 are in a very good spot all of a sudden.
It was so even, wasn't it? Coming towards that kind of a halfway mark. And I think potentially one thing to look back in towards that first half was ECSTATIC's choice to force buy in towards round number 14. I think if they'd maybe gone for an eco and then had been more competitive in round number 15, we maybe could have seen 8-7, maybe a different story. But 9 is coming on towards their T side. Look, considerably more comfortable than what they've done on their CT, which is, you know, that's rare, right? Most teams much prefer that CT side. It's easier to get early map control. It's easier to kind of take those engagements. And okay, as an individual, has been fantastic. He's been flying 27 and 14. I didn't even realize he got that close to the 30 bomb already.
Yeah, a bit of a beast, isn't he? Bit of a beast. This is an answer back from ECSTATIC, though. Nothing too flashy in the round. They're just winning a bunch of 1v1 fights, apparently. So, solid play and must-win round, as we're saying. And it looks like they will. So, Minio and Goofy, the only two that are left. Not really an awful lot to their name either. A Molly and a Flash. So, this one's gone kind of disastrously wrong for the T side. It's all about the bounce back in the next, though. Oh, that's not how that's meant to work. Or maybe it is, actually. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
I'm not sure if that's a bit behind the floor. Probably a bit of an awkward flash, yeah.
It's very quiet, isn't it? I mean, already you can see 9 in a kind of a decision in their own heads whether they even want to try and make this work. They've got very little information, no control, time ticking, but they are actually setting up for a B here. They're committing to this. Ollie will come in towards Cubby, but nothing being given. And Queenix not tempted a rotation. I think he's expecting someone to lurk out towards A.
Looking all good. Cabby finds the kill. There's so many bodies. 15 seconds. You know, everything against Goofy here, really. Gets one, but that's all. So no real sweat off the brow. Clean round for ECSTATIC. Exactly what they needed to get back on the mark and to start closing this gap against 9. We'll see. There's still some cash available. Might not... I think they should just... You know, I'm not too good at maths. They should be alright to drop across, though, I think, to Goofy. But there's a lot of pressure on this one.
Already getting to a point as well for ECSTATIC. They need to be careful. There's a world in which, for them, the kind of the question of too little too late starts to play in, right? You know, if 9 get themselves up to kind of 13, ECSTATIC have 1, potentially 2 full buys left in them before this map's done. And we already said about how Mirage is not a comfortable map for ECSTATIC, statistically speaking. It's usually their insta-ban, more often than not. So, of course, there could be a change in team composition with a new addition of Salazar, and maybe it's a change in where they were trying to, you know, adjust their veto. But, yeah, as we are right now, we need to be careful. Great start, Manx behind the first. Goofy to 4 gives the numbers in favour of ECSTATIC, and potentially the ability to double it down unless K steps up, which he does.
I think he's heard the second as well, but too little too late to go for that fight. All the same, though, like you're setting up, it's an important fight to win. Minio, meanwhile, jumps across. Could be massive, actually. Might have been heard though, the land from the jump. It's been a long day. My tongue getting a bit twisted. All the same, they are indeed ready for him. Yeah. Happens, mate. Queenix, though, will get that catch. So it turns out they did indeed hear him. I don't know why. I wanted to say, my mind wanted to say herded, which is just not a word. Well, it is a word, but not
in this sense.
Yeah, not the word I wanted. Cabby drops the bomb. Looking good. ECSTATIC holding the line. And once again, all those bodies are ready to go. Salazar covers cave. Yeah, looking very good. 9 have hit a brick wall, and a pretty solid one, to be honest.
I think for 9, they were on the road to go seeing off this map, and now I think Evon is just taking a little break here in terms of maybe even another attack pause being called and having a conversation in towards the next round when they have money to work with. Might not be a bad idea. I think things are looking pretty comfortable, and now not so much. I think a big credit has to go towards ECSTATIC because they're adjusting their setup, they're adjusting their playstyle, and probably Manx to the helm as well has kind of figured out what the T-side are liking to do and what their tendencies are as well, right? So for now, credit to the Danes, recouping their losses a little bit. Not a done story just yet. 2 rounds behind. Realistically, should be just 1 after this. It's only pistols for 9. No upgrades at all. Full Glocks. So if they can get a bomb plant, that'll be nice, but it's probably quite unlikely. And they have left the A site more or less vacant.
Certainly the classic. Popular and workable, I think, is what we've said in the past, but you do have to be very careful. We saw Nine themselves lose a fair few A hits because they had a weak defense. But you see what happens as soon as contact is made. Everyone's here in about 2 or 3 seconds. And that makes it very hard for a bunch of Glocks to get through. 1 kill onto Mankz. But we are down to just 1 round in it now. Nine were looking very healthy, and there was that big round that, you know, if they win this round, game looks like it's going to be theirs. And, well, ECSTATIC have not stopped winning since that point.
That's it. Precisely. I think for 9, this is, honestly, maybe even a make or break sort of round, right? Because if ECSTATIC tied this game up 12-all, it breaks the economy of 9 once further. And I think all that kind of morale that the Polish side was starting to build up just dwindles away on their opponent's map pick. They lose a ripe opportunity to set themselves up for a 2-0 in the series. Great util coming through. Danes and utility. Match made in heaven, as we can see. And Kraghen trying to answer with some more, and they all find it. Cracking damage on towards K and Goofy.
.115 just about to pass on the clock. And no real moves. How everything changes when it's down to just 1 round.
Pressure, man.
Yeah.
Starts to build.
Certainly molds these players as well in the way that they play. The 2-man cave setup, smart. It wasn't fully figured out last time around, and this time around, it looks just as good. Mankz with 3. Love that. Great read. And very well played from both, of course. 4 versus 2. And it should be a 12 for ECSTATIC.
It should be. 9, they've crumbled, mate. This is very, very... it's good signs for ECSTATIC because they have that kind of mental resilience, that fortitude to kind of get back into it and never kind of see this one as being dead in the water. Because there was definitely an inkling where you could kind of start to have those feelings creep in. Right? I mean, they were falling quite considerably behind. 3-4 rounds, it was getting a little bit dicey. And now, they've caught all the way back up. 12-all, their CT side looking formidable right now. And 9 crumbling, struggling. And dropping. Kylar, did he spot the leg? I don't think he did. He just very fortunately got on a dodge there. Will he die for time? The answer's yes. Kraghen will drop him. Great kill. And of course, as you can see over to his right-hand side for Kylar, there is no cash in the bank. 300. The best he'll get is a P250. And for 9, they're in a horrible spot there. No surprises. You see them call for attack pause because they are really feeling the pressure now. And I think even to a world in which ECSTATIC have potentially done enough, right, to kind of see this into some success. 9 are in a horrible spot. Money all over the place. The buys don't match up. Their game plan seems to be choppy, where they don't really have an idea of kind of what they're trying to put out to the table. I'm worried, man. I mean, things were set up for success for the Polish roster, and look where we are now. And again, on the other side, a lot of credit has to go towards ECSTATIC and individually Mankz, because he's caught a masterclass here.
Yeah, oh, brilliantly. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a harsh mistress, this game. I think 9 maybe had their sights set on, you know, a second map or whatever. There were, like I say, there was 1 or 2 solid rifle rounds in it. The CT money was non-existent. So it really wasn't a hop, skip, and a jump to think that they could win it. And you get carried away from time to time. And now they're getting rolled. They're getting rolled. These are pretty impenetrable rounds from ECSTATIC. No bomb plants, I'm pretty sure, in quite a while. So, really being dominant.
You're spot on, mate. So one-sided. And it's very difficult to kind of break that cycle, isn't it? Especially with these two sides in and around the tier 2 space. A lot of teams very momentum heavy. It's not as prevalent within tier 1. And I think a lot of that comes with stuff like mental coaches, right? I think, if I'm right in saying, I think I did hear wind of, it may have been ECSTATIC, but do have mental coaches. But, you know, they're more prominent within the tier 1 space and not as much within tier 2. But I think they're a big factor because the mental game is just as important as what we see in the server. Kylar should fall instantly. Mankz had that number up very, very comfortably. And these pistols are being dropped one by one like dominoes. K, the only rifle in this round. If he can't find any successes.
Well, he does find one. One more. Don't quite get it. They will get the bomb down, though, at the very least. So, you know, they've hit that mark. I kind of flamed them for a second ago. So they've heard me. And they've got the bomb down. But I don't think they're going to get this one over the line. It will be a 13th for ECSTATIC. Hudson just hoping maybe another kill comes his way, being a bit of a nuisance down here towards lane. Goes down as expected. And there is 13. I mean, does this stop? Do we see a 16-12? I honestly think it's incredibly clean. As you said, a masterclass call from Mankz here. Really playing well, and we've questioned kind of the lack of A defense, but it doesn't matter. Because 9 have not gone A. It's kind of like the old D2 argument, right?
Yeah.
Because we are happy to see the back of it, but you've got to show you've got to show long presence as a T side, otherwise there's never a threat. And I don't think we've seen an A execute from 9, so it's just not a threat. Look, there's no one on A. There's no one on A. They're happy to do that. And they might stick with this setup as well. Kraghen with a nice opener.
And funnily enough as well, he was where we saw ECSTATIC's best work, wasn't it? On towards T side. We were going to say, oh, it's fresh, this is funky. We're seeing them go for A more often than B. Usually is a B site simulator, which is of course what we're seeing 9 do, and ECSTATIC know all too well about this. Mankz, drop it to Yuto. Here's it get tagged as well, so you know he's close and personal. They've got to commit now to a rotation back over towards B, and it's starting to get dicey. Tuds and Goofy want a piece, not clearing Cubby, allows for Cabby to have one of his own.
Nice find from Tudson, though. Great watch. The molly does not solve all, so really solid stuff to train the aim. The bomb is very far away, though, and it's kind of a problem. Smokes are going to start to go down. Low HP of Goofy. I always love this, though. It's like when they slow things down and we know that it's because the bomb's late, they're all like, is someone lurking? Why are they not? They're not planting, you know. I don't think players ever really consider that it's like, oh, they've forgotten the bomb, you know. So it's always kind of
with the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Kylar, nice pickup, looking good. Kraghen on his lonesome then, and well, the damage has not really been done. No kills come in. Should be easy enough to trade, one would assume. Kylar's got the angle as well. Nice round from him. Nice round from Tudson, and 9 are back on it.
Just as we were saying about that B-side simulator and it being a bit of a question mark, it works wonders. And I think that's all down to the individual stepping up. Tudson with the AWP, great pick as well, and towards that Cubby player, needed to be cleared as well. Cabby was essentially the last wall over towards B, and if he managed to stand tall, different story. That Molotov's perfect, though. All tight square. So, you know, earlier today, of course, Scriv, for those who don't know, we were doing the Asia ECL, and we had it was a triple OT in our final map. It was a long old day. This one potentially could even have an OT in a similar fashion. Great swing, great find, Tudson. What a pick.
Easy. Coming into his own the past few rounds. Wide swing comes in. Salazar on that trade. Queenix also quickly traded out. 3 versus 3 now. Tough. Dodgy smoke as well. The Molotovs will come raining in, and down goes Kraghen. That's a bit awkward for him, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Mankz is out on A quite quick. There's that big brain. He's ahead of the curve. He finds one. Not quite ready for A main, though, and he might just go down here. Does indeed. Goofy picks him off. Salazar then against 2. A big round, this one, man. Look at the cash, or the lack thereof, on both sides. Bomb plant will make life easier here for that 9 squad, so they don't have to worry so much about the money, but ECSTATIC definitely do. And of course, the rounds. We're right at the end of the game. You want to be winning, don't you? Salazar, he'll find the first in the clutch here. Down to just Kylar. Low HP, but it doesn't really matter, and a great angle. A great angle. So tough. Salazar. Oh, no. Taps the bomb. I think he wanted to go for the hold, and he has just guessed completely wrong. Kylar will take him down. 14 for 9. And they are primed to steal the map pick away.
It's a great round. It really is. Kylar set himself up so nicely for success there. One of those post-bomb positions. It's very aggressive, but it, you know, beckons on the back of mistakes, and well, we did see exactly one of those. A mistake coming through, unfortunately, as you mentioned. I think he was attempting to stick it, and the stick maybe could have worked, right? I mean, no one's expecting that. Age-old moniker, pros don't fake, but not to be this time. 14 to 13, 9 take a lead, and they have managed to find some form once again. They had a slight blip in the radar, couple of speed bumps along the way, with the back in control, and on paper, you'd probably say this should be a 15th.
The buy for ECSTATIC is going to be minimal unless they go for another one of those very audacious force buys. Oh my god, they are. This is so risky, Scriv. They are force buying in on round number 28 with 9 on 14. If they lose this, 9 go up to 15, and the economy is shattered for the Danes. This is, you know, all chips to the middle of the felt kind of play, right? They are going all in on this one.
Indeed. Good way of putting it, actually.
Thanks, man. I do try.
Yeah. You play a bit of poker, or?
I do. I'm not great, to be perfectly honest, but I give it a little go every now and again.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not really a gambling man, though, so
Oh,
I'm not losing money, so just annoys me.
Yeah. Either way, moving in. Kylar and Minio, clean entries, bro. That's got to be the B bomb site secured. Kai struggles a bit, but Kylar is Broski is there to bail him out. Kraghen and Queenix. Save angle, innit? As you mentioned, money in tatters.
This is a horrible, horrible scenario. And, you know, we've praised Mankz already. His calling style, I think, as an individual, very smart player, decent in his own regard. God, I would not want to make decisions going in towards this next round. This must be a horrible position for them to be in. And for him individually, how does he call this, knowing that they're going in towards the next with a very minimalistic buy? It's brutal. It really is a horrible, horrible scenario. We'll have to wait and see how things pan out. But, hey, at the very least, an exit on towards Tudson. And an upgrade isn't too bad. They'll happily take themselves in towards an AK. AK fam, that's all they're saved across. And, well, 2.4k across the board as money to work with. It's brutal.
Very rough indeed. This is going to be a true test. I mean, it's such a shame, man, if they lose out here. You know, it was such a great recovery, and CT side economy, it just gets the better of you sometimes. Maybe a pause, maybe a quick pause as soon as 9, you know, won that 13th. Shoulda, woulda, coulda at this point, I suppose.
Yes, exactly. Hindsight is 2020. That's the age-old. Cappy will be caught by the flash. Not going to make too much noise. 3 players here over towards B. The bomb not committed yet, though. That's the good thing.
Mid pressure from the T side, clearing it out. Funnily enough, one of the first rounds we've seen in a very long time where ECSTATIC have committed an A defense, an actual solid, you know, sort of A defense. Boosted up one, the other is quickly looking to move away. High above the smoke though, gorgeous. Not for any more, he says. Cabby swings, good timing. Goes there's a second, left eye, but he wins. Big frags. Big frags. Tudson will trade him out, and Minio might just have found a small gap in the defense. Flash comes in. He can't find it. He's been spotted. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Queenix, meanwhile, takes down Kylar on the lurk. Oh, that could have been the round. That could have been the round. It slips through the fingers of Minio. There's still a chance here, of course. 3 versus 2. And the AWP on the contact. Directly a 2-on-2 on the bomb site, right? Because Queenix is miles away. Those miles are closing. Ooh. Uh-oh. Yeah. Oh, no way. No way. Okay, and then it's Queenix to find it. Mankz with the trade out. That's a pretty crazy finish, to be quite honest with you, but it is ECSTATIC that get it over the line. I thought surely we're dead to rights here, and yet he got himself a crazy frag. But doesn't work out in the end.
A lifeline extended out towards the Danes. Not exactly dead in the water just yet. One more chance. The full 30 in a regulation between these two. 9, a comeback. The ages from them and a necessary one to get them up to 15. But it's not job done. They haven't been able to close it out on their opponent's map pick just yet. Even still, for ECSTATIC, they're still alive and kicking. By the finest of margins as they walk upon thin ice. Full buy for both sides. An AWP in play. Both ways. Tudson, Salazar. Very similar in terms of stats. Very similar in terms of impact. One has a masterclass here. It could be enough to pull him across the line.
Just let that sit for a minute. The A hit to end it all. I think they've strayed away from this because they don't quite know how to approach it. ECSTATIC had, you know, a method and some cool smokes and very quick hit, therefore. Don't know that I've ever really jump smoke that they were pulling out to very quickly smoke off Donut. So we'll see. 9 really risking it all for this one. And why not? Queenix. Contact. Beautiful find. Does get traded, though. There's a bit too deep in. Pre-fire from Kraghen. It's the right idea, but it's not on. The AWP is too quick, and Tudson, he's going to go so deep now with this AWP. So much control. A great line here. And Salazar is not ready at all. 4 on 1. Just Cabby. And, well, maybe they should have gone A little bit more often, because that looked mighty good. 16-14 on the finish. And 9, they will get... It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, but they will get their opponent's map pick, which is a really big deal in this series.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, that is already, you know, changed the landscape of this game, you know, considerably, right? Because now we look towards Mirage, and as I've already mentioned, coming in towards this series, it's the usual instaban for ECSTATIC. Of course, granted, now with the changes of Salazar coming in, it could be a map that they're trying to